Let me fix that. Okay, what's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Munir, also known as the cleanest man on earth. That's right, it's me. And Sundays are gonna be failure story day. I'm gonna start sharing failure stories with you guys because the best way to learn is through failures. And I think that a lot of people say this, and it's very true. Try to fail as often as possible, especially in the beginning, for you to learn a lot of things for the future. And maybe you can learn from other people's failure, and that's why I decided to make these type of videos. Like that, I can stay humble, I can remember and be grounded with all my failures, as well as share my failures for people to learn, because that's what I've been doing too. I hear people's stories about their failures, and I learn through that, and I make sure that I don't make the same mistake as them. Or, you know, if I can learn anything from their story, then that's amazing. So this failure story actually happened 2 years ago, and it was 2 winters ago pretty much. It was right in the middle of winter, I remember, because I was struggling a lot. It was crazy snowstorms all the time, and by the way, I'm in Quebec, so the snow is knee deep sometimes when there's storms, and it's really hard to travel, and I do a lot of pickups and deliveries. Back in those days, I started this program where I wanted to reach as many companies as possible in order for me to create a relationship and see if they need any type of industrial cleaning or dry cleaning for their offices or anything that has to do with cleaning. And so I started, you know, bombarding people with emails and on LinkedIn, and I did some Facebook ads, some Instagram ads. It was just crazy. I was really motivated to do that, and that's what I decided to do for a good 2 months and a half, and I received a lot of responses back. And one of them was a man that owned residence homes, and funny enough, I'm actually in the parking of a residence home. I'm doing some deliveries, as you can see here. Yes, on a Sunday, we're working 7 days a week for our customers. So that man owned about 6 different residence home. He told me that the contract that they have with a supplier right now that are cleaning the clothes for all their residents, they sent them a letter advising them that they will no longer be available to do this type of service, and that they will stay on for about 2-3 weeks, but that'll give them enough time to find someone else. And he asked me what my prices was and all that. So mistake number 1 was to talk about prices on the phone the second that the person contacted me. I never do that anymore. Do not do that. And that's something that I learned drastically, because as soon as I said the price, he said okay. And I knew that that's because I lowballed it. I gave him a price that was just out of my mind. I just invented a price at the end of the day, and that pissed me off, because when I went to bed that night, I was like, damn, I should have negotiated. I should have asked him what's the price that he's charging his service provider right now, so I can match it or maybe go a little lower. But instead, I didn't do no research. I just set a price, but it is what it is. So he gave me the contract for 3 of his 6 residences, and then we started 2 weeks after that. Everything was going well. It was really easy money because it was just laundry. It was throwing people's clothes in a washer machine, drying it, folding it, putting it in bags, and then delivering it twice a week. The price was really not good. When I'm telling you not good, at the end of the day, when I sat down and did the math, the profit margins were about 11%, which is really not good, because it's a lot of physical effort that comes with it. And I was doing the work myself. If I wanted to outsource it or hire someone to do the job, then I would be at a minus. So I was doing the job alone. It wasn't that much volume, so I was like, whatever. Then this person referred me to another person that owns 40 of these units. And he told them, yeah, he's doing a really good job, you know, he's honest, his prices are good, contact him. So he contacted me and told me, you know, I heard that you're doing this price, are you okay with that? And I said no. And I said, I will never do it at that price. The reason why I did it at that price was for me to put my foot in the door of that industry, and that person is the only person that gets this price. If you want, we can meet. I'll definitely have a tour of your place and make sure to give you a fair price, because I'm not in the pro bono, and I made sure to be very clear from the get-go. This is not a pro bono thing that I'm doing. This is a business, and therefore I need to make profit just like you need to make profit. So he respected the business side of things, and he met me. We actually went to his offices and we discussed and everything, and I signed the contract. I signed the contract for about 10 of his units just to start with, and then eventually he will give me all of his units. We were talking at the time of a contract of about $30,000 per month. Yes, 30K a month for only that person. So I got really excited. I was pumped, but the problem happened the first day of operation. I have a truck. Thankfully, I didn't have to spend any money because I have the machinery, I have the truck, I have the people. I already had all the operation necessary for me to start this business. So that's great. But the second I got there with my employee, we looked at the bags and they were 3 times the bags of the first guy. As I'm editing, I forgot to tell you guys something. I charged the guy 3 times what I charged the first businessman, and therefore I was winning. But the bags were 3 times as big, and so it came out to the same thing. So at the end of the day, it was kind of the same amount that I'm charging the first guy, which I'm losing money with. So it drove me crazy because on the contract, it clearly states that it's the same type of volume as the first contract that I had with his friend. So that was a problem, and that was a big problem. I took pictures of everything. I actually did the cleaning correctly, and I sent him a big email saying we need to renegotiate the contract or else I'm gonna have to break it right away. He came back at me and said, well, you know, I'm really in trouble right now. You're the only service provider that I can find at this moment. Please don't leave me hanging. And I said, no problem, I will continue. But then once we re-sign another contract, then you will pay me back. We're gonna go back in time and you're gonna pay me back for all these little things. So he said, fine, we'll discuss later. 2 weeks passed, 3 weeks passed. I sent him an email. I still remember it was a Sunday and I was working all day. My wife was with me and it was just crazy how many pieces of garments that we had in the store. The other store also was full of clothes and it was just crazy. That's when I sent him an email saying, I'm done. I'm breaking my contract with you. I'm absolutely done. A few hours later, he shows up to the store. First of all, you need to know that the stores are closed on Sundays. He came knocking at my window because he knew I was gonna be working. He comes in literally with like his pajamas on. And he's like, please don't do this, da 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 da. I need you here. It's absolutely necessary for you to stay with us and we will make sure to pay you properly, da da da. I said, okay, by Tuesday, if I don't have a fresh contract, I'm done. I'm delivering all the stuff. I'm sending you an invoice and we're never talking again. Guess what happened on Tuesday? Nothing. Not a peep. I call his office. He's not there. He's in meetings. I email him. He's not there. And I send him a last message. Listen, I'm going to drop everything on Wednesday. We're not going to do business together anymore. But before that, I need to see my payment because I don't trust you anymore. I actually had to go to his offices the same night and I found him there and he was really surprised that I came to his office. I told him, you have to make me a check right now. I'm gonna drop all the clothes of your tenants and we don't talk about it anymore. I'm done. Find a new provider. It's up to you. The next day, a guy in the industry calls me, tells me that he got the contract. And I'm like, he didn't even break the contract with me initially and he didn't even pay me for the job. So listen, you're my colleague. I beg you, don't trust this man. He's not gonna pay you. You shouldn't start before I get paid. And he said, okay, fine. I literally had to hustle him for a week and he gave me my payment. It was $17,000. And then I sold all the bags that I had to the new provider and I told him, watch out with this guy, he's a shark. And he told me, don't worry about it. But I know these guys in the industry, they're all like me, full of ambition and they think that everything is gonna be pink. We look at things through pink glasses and we think that life is gonna be great. And eventually I broke my contract with the first provider as well because it was getting too out of hand. There was a lot of trouble with them as well. Payments starting to be different than it was initially, and that's all because of my relationship with the second guy. And I figured out later that they're best friends, so he wanted to screw me over and let me go, but that's fine. I found other residence homes just like the one in back of me, and that's fine. But this is my failure story because I take responsibility and I acknowledge the fact that there's a lot of things that I didn't do. First of all, I did not negotiate properly my first residence contract. That was important for me to go visit and to see how much I can charge. Second of all, I should have visited the place of the second provider and make sure that they have the same volume, same type of bags, that the environment is the same, that we have a meeting and that I understand who they are and how much to charge. If there's any excess, and that's what I do today. If I charge you for a bag, let's say $25 every time I pick up a bag, clean it and dry it. If there's any excess, I'm charging you extra. And that's what I learned. I put that in all my contracts nowadays. Also, relationships. You need to learn who is who, who's friends with who, how you talk with this person and how you talk with that person could be very different depending on what type of contracts you have. And lastly, being over ambitious sometimes will kill you. And that's my last tip here. Make sure that you don't just say yes just to say yes. Know your worth and understand if you're able to do it. If you're not able to do it, if it's gonna hit your health, if it's not gonna be great for you, with your relationship with your wife, your family, make sure to put that into account and understand that these things failures are very, very crucial and important in your life. The second I put that in my mind, absolutely everything changed. I don't say yes to everything. I understand if it's worth it for me, and I understand if it's financially worth it for me. Because if the person is paying you well enough, then you're able to hire and you don't have to be there all the time. So that's great. That's the way I do things nowadays. I hope that you enjoyed my little failure story. Every Sunday, I'm gonna bring you a new failure story that happened in my life. I have 5 years experience in business, and trust me, the first 3 years are full of failure story, and fail a lot, fail often, especially in the beginning for you to learn. It's understandable. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos, and if you have any failure story, tell me below. I'd love to read them. Until next time, guys.